Hey, what's up guys, this is Jack Tiong and welcome back to the second episode of Java tutorial video. In the previous episode, we have learned about some of the basic concepts of Java programming language, which includes what is Java, what can we do with Java, what could be the future of a Java developer, what is JDK, what is IDE, how to set up JDK, how to set up Eclipse, and last but not least, we have also compiled and run our very first program that displays Hello World on the screen. So what we're going to do in this episode is that we are going to take a closer look at the Hello World application, because I'm pretty sure most of you guys are wondering how it actually works behind the scene. With that being said, let's get started. In Eclipse, right after you have selected your workspace directory, this is where you're gonna text you, and the first thing you're gonna do is to create a new Java project. Now what is a Java project? A Java project basically contains the source code as well as the other related files for building a Java program. To create a new Java project, simply click on the arrow next to the new button on top and select Java project. Now simply enter a name and hit on the finish button. The next thing you're gonna do is to create a new class. To do so, right click on your project name, new, and select class. Now because this is actually a more complicated topic, we are going to talk more about classes and objects in the later episode. For now, we just need to remember that every application begins with a class definition, which means class is a must in Java. Alright, now simply give your class a name. Make sure the checkbox to create the main method is being checked. And lastly, click on the finish button. As you can see here, Eclipse has created the class for us automatically. And within the class, we have what we call the main method because we have checked on the checkbox from the previous dialog. Now what exactly is a main method? What does it actually do? Main method is the entry point of every Java application. Or in other words, it is basically the first method that will be called every time when you run your application. The main method is being used to control the flow of the program, allocates the needed resources, as well as to run the other methods that provide the functionality for the application. In short, every Java application must contain a main method that looks something like this, where public is one of the access modifiers, which basically means that any object is allowed to call the main method. Static indicates that the main method isn't associated with an instance of a class, which means that the main method is a class method. Void indicates that the main method doesn't return any value. And lastly, the main method has a string array argument called args. Now within the main function, we can then use the standard output stream to print hello world on the screen. Alright, the very last step would be to click on the run button on top and see if everything is okay. Sweet! The hello world has been printed on the screen just like how we wanted. But just in case if you guys are wondering, when the run button is being clicked, what it does behind the scene is basically to convert the source code that we have written into a bunch of executable bytecodes first, before it can actually go ahead and execute the codes and print hello world on the screen. Okay, one last thing. Remember we talked about the main method has an argument called args? I didn't talk much about it just now because I don't want to confuse you guys. But now that you know the main method is the first method that will be called, the argument, which is a string array, is also known as the command line argument, basically allows you to pass in some initial information to your application. Now I'm going to show you guys a very simple example on how we can actually pass in some initial data and use it in our application. To do so, simply click on the down arrow right next to the run button. Then click on run configurations. Navigate to the arguments tab. And lastly, we can specify the data under the program arguments text box. In this case, I'm going to put my first name and my last name. Once you're done with that, click on the apply button and close the dialog. Alright, we can now access the data in our application by using the string array. Now let's try to run our application and see if it works. Yep, it works. That's it guys, we have taken a closer look at the Hello World application and we have learned about things like Java project, classes, main method, and also the workflow of the run button. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. If you like the video, be sure to hit on the like button, share it to your friends, and of course don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.